doesn't matter what you think. All right, and it really doesn't matter what you say.
Wow.
Wow. What a game that was. Kansas State 31-28 in overtime over the TCU Horned Frogs. Now, TCU's not necessarily out of it. They played a hard-fought game that was awesome to watch. Is this what you need if you're an Alabama fan like me? You needed some chaos. We got a little bit of chaos. You know, you have let's screen share here. Will Howard for Kansas State had a phenomenal game. 18 of 31, 199 yards and 2 touchdowns. Max Duggan or Duggan. I still don't know. Is it Duggan or Duggan? I don't want to butcher his last name, but had a phenomenal performance too. 18 of 36, 251 yards, a touchdown, but also interception in the end zone that Kansas State was able to get. And, you know, would it have really changed much in this game? We don't know. Quentin Johnson, 4 receptions, 139 yards, no touchdowns for him. Phenomenal performance as far as couldn't find the end zone, but had a good performance, had a lot of yards. You look at the scoring summary, I mean, it was back and forth. It was one of those, it was kind of like a shootout. It was kind of back and forth, only it wasn't a whole lot of action. You know, there were 5 minutes left in the first quarter, 92-yard drive, 13 plays for TCU. Max Duggan, gives it to Tay Barber, who takes it in on a 1-yard pass play, little quick slant route. Ben Sennett for Kansas State got a pass from Will Howard, and of course the PAT to tie it up towards the end of the first quarter. 2 turnovers for TCU in this game. They had more yardage, they had less time of possession, and they could not handle the first down. So having 2 turnovers, having less time of possession, ball control, all that stuff, and having less first downs, I think if they had led in those categories, TCU outright wins this game. They fall to 12-1. They still have a case for the playoffs, very much so. I mean, Kansas State's not going to sneak in there. But, I mean, do you give the nod to TCU? A lot of people were saying Alabama still has a case, even though they have 2 losses that are close. This was a game that if you were an Alabama fan like myself, you were watching and pulling for an upset and pulling for some chaos this weekend. So, I don't know. This is going to be interesting. What's up, Adam? We have a chance to get in, but we still don't deserve it. I agree to an extent. I don't think we deserve the playoffs, but I still think, I mean, if they give us a shot, they give us a shot. Rise Up says, committee's got some big decisions to make nonetheless. What's up, Sorgy? What's up, Neo? Roll Tide. Sorry, but TCU, USC, Ohio State, Tennessee should all still get in over Bama. TCU is 12-1, USC 11 wins. Tennessee beats you. Still, Bama will probably get in because the CFP likes money, not logic. Yeah, I would agree. I would definitely agree to that. Damn fly. For most of this game, you look at for the first part of it, TCU, going into the game, TCU had about a 52% chance to win, more than half a chance, more than a 50-50. It was a roller coaster ride. It was back and forth. TCU did what they had to do, right? When you look at this game, It was going into the fourth, 21-17. TCU outscored Kansas State 11-7, right? And they tied it up at 28, took it to overtime. Kansas State was able to kick the field goal. And, after TCU coughed it up. But, I mean, this was insane. This was a good game. This really was a fun game to watch. TCU turned it over on downs. You had Kendre Miller, really good running back for him. What I don't understand, though, is if you look at this drive in overtime, this was your mistake. Look at this. There was no attempt to try to make big plays in overtime. I understand you don't want to cough it up, risk an interception or anything. Bruce Arians, the former Buccaneers head coach, says no risk it, no biscuit. All right. They did not risk a darn thing in this game, at least for overtime. Kendre Miller ran for 15 yards. Kendre Miller runs for 4 yards. Max Duggan runs for 5 yards. Timeout TCU. Kendre Miller runs for no gain. Then on 4th and goal, he runs for no gain, does not get in, and Kansas State comes away with the goal line stand. There were some things in this game that TCU failed to do that ended up costing them late in the game. Now, here's the thing. Does TCU deserve a shot at the playoffs? I think after the season that they've had, I think they do deserve a shot. Are they going to get in? Probably. I mean, they didn't lose in a blowout, number one. They lost on the last play of the game. They lost in overtime. They competed and worked their tails off this whole season up until the Big 12 title game. The only red flag I see, though, is they did end up losing to a 9-3 team. But Kansas State is still ranked number 10. So they got a top 10 loss. That's never really a bad thing to hang your head on. I guess there's a lot to be made positively of this. Sonny Dykes has done a fantastic job this year as a head coach. Max Duggan, the quarterback. And I give a lot of credit to this team. They did what they had to do to win 12 games, get to the Big Ten title. They just didn't do what they had to do to win the game today. And outside of that, they've looked phenomenal this year. I mean, how many times do they have to come back from behind in the second half and prove themselves? A lot. Kansas State was just the team that put the nail in the coffin and said, this is it. Your run is over, and just so I'm trying to think how I want to put this now. There's so much positivity when you look at TCU this season. Like, there's so much good that should outweigh and this isn't even a bad loss. Yeah, it was a bad day. But there's a lot of positive things you could talk about and mention about them that, you say, well, maybe it outweighs the loss. So, I don't know. TCU, in my opinion, I don't know if they'll get in. I think they should get in. I know they didn't win their conference. I understand that. It happens. They won 12 games out of nowhere this year. They got an NFL type of quarterback. They got great receivers. They got good defense too, man. There were some punts in this game. There were some stops. Look at the team stats. 20 first downs for Kansas State, 18 for TCU, who was 2 of 15 on third down. Terrible. 5 of 16 on third down for K-State. TCU had more yards, rushing and passing. Both teams had 4 penalties, but coughing up a fumble or having a pick for TCU, and then Kansas State going and answering off of those. Then all of a sudden the game turns around and it's in favor of the Wildcats. They had a fumble loss. They had an interception thrown. Kansas State controlled the clock. They took advantage of opportunities and obviously got to overtime and took advantage of it. It's it just wasn't the day for TCU, and someone finally got them. Prediction for the top 4, Ballard, says Adam. I think Georgia wins tonight. Give me the Dogs. Give me Michigan to win. They'll get in. I don't know, man. I don't see it. I know you want to hear me say Alabama, Alabama, Alabama. I don't think the committee wants Alabama in. I mean, they might if they go off money. I don't know. I know Michigan, if they win tonight, they're in. Georgia's in, win or lose. USC lost. So TCU and USC lost. We've had 2 upsets. I think TCU still sneaks in a way. I just think they dropped from 3 to 4. But then again, dude, I don't know. I mean, they got exposed in ways. Maybe Alabama could sneak in. How crazy would it be if we got both Ohio State and Alabama? Just saying. I don't know, man. What's up, Mo T? Maybe Alabama gets in, but I don't see a 2-loss team making it in over a 1-loss team, especially when they lost in the conference championship. Technically speaking, last year's Georgia lost the conference game in a blowout, and it was their first loss, and they still snuck in. In fact, I think, didn't Georgia get the 3 seed? Here's TCU in overtime, the 3 seed. I see no reason to leave TCU out. Kansas State was 9-3 going into it. That's not necessarily a good record you want to have, but they're still a top 10 team. They closed the season out right. They fought with toughness, heart, competitiveness, did what they had to do. I mean, did TCU do anything bad in this game that got them to the loss other than Kansas State just wanted to win the game a little bit more? At least showed it. What's up, Brock? TCU going to get in. We needed a blowout. I agree. I think TCU is still going to be in it. I'll say Georgia, and you can put them in any order. I'm not one. Well, okay. I expect Michigan to win tonight. I'll give you this. Number 1, Georgia. Number 2, Michigan. Who else? Um, I guess I mean, it's possible unless Alabama, because I really think, man, I really think there was enough chaos. Especially consider this: USC lost last night, like big time lost. It was not a pretty night for Caleb Williams. I keep forgetting Ohio State. Ohio State's a one-loss team. That's the team probably getting the nod. But then again, the last time we saw them take the field, they got skull drug up and down the football field by Michigan. At home, Alabama's 2 games came on the road, lost by 5 combined points. I get it, Cody. Look, I'll be honest. I keep trying to find scenario. Here's my thing. I keep trying to find the scenarios for Alabama to get in. They still need a lot to happen. That's not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to force them in the playoff spot. I've accepted the facts. I've accepted Alabama's not going. Now, my grandmother can sit there and say, I was jumping up and down and I was cheering and hoping. You got to have a little bit of fun, right? You got to have a little bit of hope. I know it's not going to happen, but with God, all things are possible. I don't know. I want to hear from you guys, though. We got a couple other games on tonight. What are some of your score predictions? We'll be live for Clemson, North Carolina. We got Georgia, LSU currently. We got Purdue and Michigan. And then we also have, actually, I think that's it. I think we have 3 games left to watch. But we'll see. I'm kind of confused. Purdue's got to kill Michigan. LSU would have to kill Georgia. You don't lose your conference game in a blowout and get in. Do you? Well, I guess you can. It happened last year with Georgia because that was 41-24. I don't know, man. This was a great game, though. It really was. It was fun to watch. I hate it for TCU, though. I had fun watching TCU this year. They still might sneak in, though. I mean, I think that they have a resume and credit. If not, they get the Sugar Bowl as the Big 12 team. I don't know. But it's all kind of confusing to me, if I'm being honest. I just know some teams got to lose, some teams got to win for Alabama to make it. And we might be the best 2-loss team. But like I say, 2-loss teams just don't make the playoff. It's never happened. And I don't even think it could happen in a 12-team playoff. That might sound crazy, but I mean, come on. We'll see. Selection Sunday tomorrow. I'll be watching. I probably won't be live for it, but I'll be watching it, paying attention. Don't forget, we'll be live tonight. I got banners. Clemson, North Carolina for the ACC championship. We got the background of Bank of America Stadium. We'll be live tonight for that game around 6:50 Central Time. The game's at 7 Central. And yeah, same time as the Big Ten title. So those are the two games we got left. We got Georgia LSU currently, and then Tulane UCF. So anyway, I love you guys. We'll see you later tonight. Jesus loves you. He's got a great plan. Keep your head up. Don't ever give up or lose hope. And I hope everyone has a great rest of your Saturday. Really appreciate you guys tuning in and watching. So we'll see you.